Military Tribunal 2. Military Tribunal number 2 is now in session. God save the United States of America and this honorable tribunal. There will be order in the court.
Case number 5 is before the tribunal, the United States of America against Freidrich, Flick, and others. The marshal will ascertain whether or not all of the defendants named in the indictment are present in court.
But please, Your Honors, all defendants are present.
The Chief of Counsel may read the indictment.
Military Tribunal, case number 5. The United States of America against Freidrich Flick, Otto Steinbrinck, Konard Kaletsch, Bernhard Weiss, and Hermann Terberger, defendants. Indictment. The United States of America, by the undersigned, Telford Taylor, Chief of Counsel for War Crimes, duly appointed to represent said government in the prosecution of war criminals, charges that the defendants herein committed war crimes and crimes against humanity, as defined in Control Council Law number 10, duly enacted by the Allied Control Council on 20 December 1945. These crimes included murders, brutalities, cruelties, tortures, atrocities, deportation, enslavement, plunder of public and private property, persecutions, and other inhumane acts as set forth in counts 1, 2, 3, and 4 of this indictment. Accessories to, ordered, abetted, took a consenting part in, were connected with plans and enterprises involving, and were members of organizations or groups connected with, enslavement and deportation to slave labor on a gigantic scale of members of the civilian populations of countries and territories under the belligerent occupation of or otherwise controlled by Germany. Enslavement of concentration camp inmates, including German nationals, and the use of prisoners of war in war operations and work having a direct relation with war operations, including the manufacture and transportation of armaments and munitions. In the course of these activities, hundreds of thousands of persons were enslaved, deported, ill-treated, terrorized, tortured, and murdered. The acts, conduct, plans, and enterprises charged in paragraph 1 of this count were carried out as part of the slave labor program of the Third Reich, in the course of which millions of persons, including women and children, were subjected to forced labor under cruel and inhumane conditions, which resulted in widespread suffering and many deaths. At least 5 million workers were deported to Germany. The conscription of labor was accomplished in many cases by drastic and violent methods. Workers destined for the Reich were sent under guard to Germany, often packed in trains without adequate heat, food, clothing, or sanitary facilities. Other inhabitants of occupied countries were conscripted and compelled to work in their own countries to assist the German war economy. The resources and needs of the occupied countries were completely disregarded in the execution of the said plans and enterprises, as were the family honor and rights of the civilian populations involved. Prisoners of war were assigned to work directly related to war operations, including work in armaments factories. The treatment of slave laborers and prisoners of war was based on the principle that they should be fed, sheltered, and treated in such a way as to exploit them to the greatest possible extent at the lowest expenditure.